Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough and a little exploration, a little first impressions play with the Alcento Tarot by Michael J. Auger. Before we get started though, hello. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. I am a tarot deck creator, an author, and a YouTube content creator. I will throw a graphic up on the screen where you can get some of my things that I've created that are currently available in my Etsy shop and elsewhere. I will also throw up a quick graphic reminding you that I have just created the Unicorn's Journey Oracle. We successfully funded on Kickstarter, and there should be an opportunity to do a little bit of late pledge action. You'll want to check out the links in my link tree for more information about that, or make sure you sign up for my newsletter where I keep you all updated about the status of all of my projects about once a month. And a once a month newsletter, definitely never more often than that because I just can't. But anyways, back to the subject at hand. Today we're looking at the Allcento Tarot. This charmed the pants off me when Danny and I were covering it in Hot Takes. I didn't know if it was going to be something I needed to get, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Let's read the back. So it says, Allcento Tarot combines rich symbolism from historic tarot traditions as well as the most popular modern incarnations. Inspired by early Marseille and Minchiati Tarot, this delightful 100-card deck with black painted edges incorporates zodiac cards, all 7 virtues, and the lesser-known triumph cards, including the Dragon and the Grail. The 144-page illustrated guidebook explores numerological and Kabbalistic insights, casting light on hidden and forgotten knowledge while presenting an engaging new approach to the tarot. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to get into this. I apologize in advance because I may not be able to do this justice. We'll see how I do. I have a lot of like trivia about tarot in my mind. I've got a lot of like RWS knowledge, but when it comes to the esoteric stuff, sometimes I get a little lost. So we'll see how I do. We'll see how I do. Let's get these out. It is in a split box design, which is not my favorite, so I'm going to need to get it a bag, number one. Although this is a really well-designed little tray. It has what looks to be like a box bottom built in to the tray, as opposed to just a cardboard-like frame, and I'm pushing on it pretty hard. You can even see these are the weak points of these sorts of trays. Mine's taken a little bit of like movement, but there is no risk of cards sliding in or under, so that's really cool. And yes, I'm totally going to look at how it's constructed. Look at how reinforced it is. Truly. Well done, US Games. That's really nice. They did a good job with this because these kinds of trays often end real badly. I actually might keep it in here because I have a feeling that I'm going to want to use this sort of deck with its guidebook. And normally I move the cards into a bag, but I might not this time. Okay, so I'm going to pull out the majors. We're going to do this. Oh, wait, maybe not. Hold on. Let me just stack up the deck. This is what the backs look like. It does indeed have black painted edges. Let's see how the book is organized, because that will depend if I'm going to reorder the deck or not. I want to know what this Alcento means. I wonder if it says in here. Okay, so we go aces, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. Okay, gotcha. Then we have majors, then we have zodiacs. So we're going to have all the aces together. Oh, I see. Okay. We'll look at it the way that it's designed then. So it's grouped by number. There's an intro, which I definitely want to read, but not on camera. And then we have the minors. So we have a little table here. So we have air is associated with swords, east, winter, dawn, head, and spades. Water is associated with cups, west, autumn, dusk, chest, and hearts. Fire is wands, south, summer. Noon, pelvis, clubs. And then earth is discs, north, spring. Midnight, legs, and diamonds. So these directions are how I associate the tarot, but I tend to go seasons-wise. I tend to put air in the autumn, water in the spring, fire in summer, and earth in winter. And everybody has their own associations, I've been learning, and mine may not be correct, okay? Like, that's just the association that's the strongest for me. But everybody's going to be different, and so good to know in case you're interested in the seasons. I don't know how much the seasonality is going to be present in these cards. We will see. It doesn't feel super insanely seasonal, so I think it's okay. I really need to know what this A symbol is all about, so I hope it tells us. The playing card suits are obviously also associated, so spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds. Swords, we have a little bit of an overview. We have court cards. Interesting that we have you oh my God, Michael has associated each of the court cards. I just don't want to spoil everything in the book because that's not fair, but Each of the court cards is associated with a different Myers-Briggs personality type, and I love you for doing this, Michael. Oh my God. Oh my God. I need to know. Oh my God. And my significator is totally my Myers-Briggs type, which is exactly how I would have done it. These make so much sense. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to give it away because I feel like that's not fair. We have numbered cards. We have sigils for each number, which makes sense. Let's actually look at this real quick. So this infinity symbol for aces or for ones, this X for duality for twos, triangles for creativity for threes. These symbols make tons of sense. 4 for stability, 5 for disruption with the star, 6 for harmony, 7 for struggle, the squared triangle, 8 for balance with the Merkaba, the 8-pointed star, 9, I think that's Merkaba, right? Did I make that up? Anyway, 9 for power, we have a arrow, 10 for transition, and we have what looks like the sun symbol. And then the 5th element, in addition to air, water, fire, and earth, there's also a 5th element. This element has many names, including ether, aura, spirit, quintessence, and the void, to name a few. Okay. I need to know about this A symbol. Is this a branding thing, or is this like, does it have a symbolic meaning for you? I need to know, Mr. Augur. I need you to tell us. I'm just peeking in the back. There's information on the tree of life. Excuse me. If it's going to be on the back of the cards and it's going to be, hold on. It might be this symbol. What is this? What is this? What is this? And what is Alcento? Maybe I just read the introduction. Hold on. BRB. Oh my goodness. My name is Michael J. My surname Augur is pronounced Auger. Auger. I've been saying it wrong. Oh my gosh. Michael, were you cringing? Michael Auger. Auger, pronounced in here, Auger, is derived from the French personal name Auger, which is itself derived from the old German name Adalgarius, which means noble spear. I'm just wondering. Okay, on the back of the cards, hold on. On the back of each card can be found a depiction of sacred geometry, encircled by the serpent of wisdom in the shape of an eternal loop known as an Ouroboros. The symbolism of the tarot is complex, and each card can be viewed in multiple levels. However, even on the most basic level, my hope is that each card will resonate with an emotional response in the way all true art does. Are you going to tell me about your A? Is it for your last name? I have so many questions. Okay, I don't see it in here, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get over it, maybe, probably. There's so much thought put into this. Okay. Let's start out by just pulling out all of our aces, and then we're going to take a look at what we see, what we can identify. What I say we, as if you can help me, but you can't. It's all me. It's all me here. I am 100% on my own because y'all can't see me. Okay. I'm going to tweak my camera slightly because we were a little bit off center. Okay. So we have our Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, and Ace of Discs. Now we know from the intro to the book, symbology-wise, that this infinity symbol is an ace symbol and stands for unity. So it says the ace is the essence of the suit and its element. It represents wholeness and a unity of opposites and can be thought of as either low or high because it is both. So low or high in playing cards, right? That's an interesting correlation, and I love that the playing card element is pulled in here as well. The ace opens every process and thereby contains the whole as pure potential. I agree with this totally. I tend to think of the aces as like snow globes, kind of like snow globe seeds. If it's a seed, but you zoom in really close, and when you examine it, it actually is both the seed of the suit and contains the entire suit within it, like a snow globe. Okay, when associated with the element of air, such as in the Ace of Swords, it represents the ambitions of the mind, a new challenge or problem to overcome, and the conviction of a leader to focus on the point of the matter. When associated with water, like the Ace of Cups, it represents a wellspring of emotion, can signal the beginning of love or other types of strong commitment. When associated with the element of fire, it represents the initial spark of creative energy and momentum needed to start a project. And when associated with the element of earth, it represents an auspicious start to material matters like a fruitful seed planted. So we've already just gotten so much information, and we haven't even gone into the card entries yet, which I love. Now, some things I've noticed. Right away we see the playing card suits. We have the spade for the sword, the heart for the cup, the club for the wand, and the pentacle or coin for the discs. Or excuse me, the diamond. Sorry, it's right there. The diamond for the pentacles. Okay, I'm also noticing that there's a relationship with that lemniscate symbol, the unity symbol, spiral, there, and there. So we've pulled that symbology in. Okay, what else do we notice? We've got the playing card suits for sure coming through. Oh, we also have elemental sigils. So we have on the shoulder of every character, okay, well, on the shoulder here, we have the symbol for air. On the shoulder here, we have the alchemical symbol for water. On this wand, we have the alchemical symbol for fire. And then on earth, it's on his hat. We have the alchemical symbol for earth. So a lot of information is being fed to us into the card. We have a few other things that are jumping out at me. For example, we have the horseshoe wrapped around this base for the Ace of Wands. I am curious about that. We have some acorns in the earth card. What else is jumping out at me? The lotus flowers for the Ace of Water. I think this is meant to be a salamander. Okay, so let's just check the guidebook and see if I missed anything. He describes his character as a sylph, which is amazing because in my Unicorn's Journey Tarot, the elemental air creatures are sylphs. Oh, this is an olive tree symbolizing peace and mercy, and on the left is a palm tree, resistance to harsh winds, and a reminder that even in the most difficult times, victory can be achieved. His sword has a double-sided blade to affirm thoughts that align with divine will, can also be used to invoke wrath, punishment, and cause affliction. So the double-sided blade can be used either direction, obviously. And wield weapons wisely. Beautiful. Okay. Now we have an Undine. So we have a water spirit. And there's the lemniscate we talked about. Water lilies representing the creative power of imagination. The 5 streams, which you see 5 streams in the RWS card as well. And those represent the 5 basic senses with which we experience the world. Let's go to the fire suit. Fire has 3 main flames. Center flame has 4 branches, and the bordering flames each have 3, making a total of 10, the number of the Sephiroth. Okay. And then in the discs, we have a gnome. Okay, it says this is the Augur Alcento sigil. Okay, so it's the Alcento sigil. I don't know what that is, though. Oh, not Augur. Oh my gosh, I did it again. Auger. The Auger Alcento sigil. I think things are beeping at me. Hold on. Okay, so these are, does it say anything about the acorns? Scattered around the gnome are acorns, which represent seeds of wealth and power that can be discarded and forgotten or planted and nurtured. There's snowdrops, the first flowers of spring, and an open garden archway that beckons to the mountains of achievement. Okay, lots going on here, and I'm sure a lot of this also correlates directly to the RWS, but I'm not going to do an RWS comparison right this minute. So let's look at the 2s. Okay, so I also just noticed, so I'm going to show this real quick. I also just noticed that the borders also have the alchemical symbol for the element as well as the suit symbol for the playing card suit association, which is cool. Then we, of course, have the number in the top left. Okay, so in the 2 of Swords, some things. I noticed that she has a keyhole over her heart, but there's a duel here. I feel like we're actually getting 2 different energies represented on the card. Both the RWS energy, which is often about like trying to make a difficult decision with the water behind her and her heart is blocked or locked. That's very common RWS symbology. But I believe in the Thoth, and I could be wrong, and I'll see what the guidebook says in a moment. I believe there's more of this dueling energy, this like contentious energy. And I like that both are represented. Here in the 2 of Cups, we see 2 people meeting, gazing at each other's eyes. Now the 2 symbol from the intro to the guidebook here is an X. So we're looking for any X symbology. So we see it here, I'm assuming. I'm wondering where we see an X here. Oh, up here. And then here, the X is being marked on the map. Here, it's also holding up these torches. And here it's on her belt. We also have, it looks like an Ogham on her arm here. I'll see what that's about here in a second. So super interesting. So it talks about 2s being duality. It says when associated with air, signifies peaceful reflection. Meditation is needed to discern between conflicting ideas. When associated with water, it can represent attraction and dedication expressed as partnership or love. When associated with fire, it represents active state of planning one's dominion. And when associated with earth, it represents change and adjustment needed to balance resources and maintain equilibrium. So now we have the Lady of Peace has removed herself from distraction and is in a state of deep meditation with eyes closed. I don't want to read these whole things. 2 equally matched men cross swords, indicating a difficult choice. Lots going on here. God, this is so cool. The 2 of Cups. The Lord and Lady of Love toast a drink. The head of a lion is carved over the windows. This alludes to the lesson of fortitude, that the most powerful force is love. So we have our strength nod there. Oh, they're... Okay, I had a whole moment. Hold on. Okay, each one of them, this character is wearing the white half of a yin-yang symbol and she's wearing the dark half of a yin-yang symbol. Legitimately, Peggy and I wore necklaces like that for our entire partnership, long distance engagement before we got married. We had a yin-yang pendant, and I wore the yin half and she wore the yang half because, of course, the masculine and feminine energy was represented there. And oh my God, these characters are wearing those too. And it makes me really happy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having a whole moment here. There's like a lot to dive into and I love that. Behind them is this home. There's this idea that they each have their own perspective with these individual windows, but they're coming together. I don't know. Are the yin-yangs pointed out in the card descriptions? Yes, the lovers each wear a pendant of half of the Taiji 2, the yin-yang symbol, of perfect balance that also speaks to the power of unity. Sacrifice is needed for dualities to remain united. First, we need to live in peace with ourselves, which I think is these individual little spaces. So you need to maintain your own spaces, but also come together and form that partnership. Really, really cool. In the Two of Wands, we have the roses and the lilies, which are used to seeing somebody looking out over a high place from within their comfort zone, holding a globe in one hand, a staff in the other. So we have a lot of similar symbology here. We have the ships that we know will meet potentially in the Three of Fire. I'm just peeking ahead. Yes, there they are. We have the fleur-de-lis and the, I think, is that the Tudor rose? Question mark? Flowers represent, let's see. Beside the table, there are flower pots of white lilies and roses. Similar to the magician, the flowers represent aspirations and application of will, but on a more mundane level. Beckoning boats and a lofty mountaintop can be seen in the distance. There's so much more in here. There's some hesitation that may need to be overcome. I love that this map, that there's these plans being made and this globe is being marked. There's a lot happening here for sure. And then in the Two of Discs, she stands on one leg. The serpent has a dangerous bite that even an experienced performer must respect, but she's joyful. She has a scar of an old wound that is a reminder of the risk she takes. Interesting. So it doesn't reference an Ogham, but it looks a little bit like an Ogham to me, but maybe it's not meant to be. Just a scar, I guess. Maybe it's just to show that she's taken a bite in the past. Interesting stuff here. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is going to take us ages, but that's okay. Here we have the threes. Now we're looking for triangles. So we had X's and the twos. We're looking for triangles in the threes, and I'm already seeing them on the cards. So there's a triangle here, there's a triangle here, a triangle here, and a triangle here. So we're seeing all of those triangle energies coming together. Of course, we also have the triangle here. There's a little bit to be said about the composition of the cards, even just the shape of the boats happening. Okay, let's take a look at the threes. So the threes create an understanding. The number 3 creates an understanding of change and initiates movement of growth and results. So in air, it signifies a mental change necessary for progress out of sorrow and heartbreak. Agree. Cups, there's an emotional enthusiasm. This can be an opportunity to connect and celebrate abundance with others. For fire, there's an active effort underway. I'm kind of paraphrasing. The earth, it's structured progress of a collaborative effort of work focused on the creative aspects of this alliance. Okay. So some symbols and things. We have a tapestry hanging on the wall here. Creativity of thought. Oh my gosh, this is so well thought out, y'all. I don't even know how I'm going to cover it all. Okay, so let me just give you a little sneaky peek of what the card entries look like. There's a keyword. You all know I'm going to love this. There's a keyword for every number, right? So threes are creativity. There's a keyword for every element. So swords are thought. So we get creativity of thought. Creativity of emotion for cups. If you have taken my Tarot Bootcamp for Beginners course on my website, one of the base premises of that course is that you build your person, just like in Unlocking the Tarot, right? You build a keyword system for yourself, but you build keywords for each of the elements. You build keywords for each of the suits. You build keywords for each of the numbers. And for that reason, because you can form this association, because if you know what a 3 is to you, if threes are always creativity, for me, they're growth. Okay. If a 3 is always creativity, and then you just have to combine that with the keyword. You're basically creating a system where you will always understand the tarot because you're merging your own personal keyword set. So in my course, I go through creating an entire deck of cards where you've noted all these different keywords for all these different parts, and you sort of are able to put them all together into a cohesive meaning for the card. I'm paraphrasing my own course really badly, y'all. So if you're interested in it, go look at my website. But I created that some couple of years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago now. And it's really exciting to see a deck that uses that same sort of system baked in. It's really cool. Anyway, okay, back to the punchline. So in the Three of Swords, we're seeing that distress, that heartbreak, but she needs to grow and learn and think creatively in order to come out of that heaviness, right? Lots of cool symbols here that we can definitely see what's happening on this card. In the Three of Cups, they're dancing, they're what do you call it? They're foot smashing. They're making wine with their feet. There's a better word for that. I just don't know what it is right now. A lot of the same symbols we need to see from the Rider-Waite-Smith is here. And a really interesting distinction that I always look for in the Three of Cups, and is done perfectly here, is they're each wearing a different colored shirt. So I always look for some element on the card that shows us that each character on the Three of Cups is bringing their own unique energy to the whole. So sometimes that's different colored hair, different colored hats, different flowers, different whatever. And here it's in their shirts, and I'm so grateful because that's a symbol that's important to me in the card. And then we have the Three of Wands. And here we have the Fates, I'm assuming is what we're looking at here. I think they're called Fates. The Weird Sisters, who weave, measure, and will cut a thread of fate. And so this person here has climbed up and is looking out over their boats. He has traveled far from the beginning of his vision. His position on high ground portrays his early success and achievement. He has forged partnerships with boats that can be seen in the distance. Although he stands alone, his wands serve to support, illuminate, and communicate. Oh my God. And then, of course, in Earth, we've got a very RWSy type image here, but we've got one person sort of planning and doing measuring. We have one person who is doing the actual carving, and we have one person who's sort of reviewing plans and sort of doing that management piece. So we've got those elements all working in tandem. Really great. Okay, let's look at the fours. So we're looking for squares in the artwork to symbolize that square for the number 4. Look at this. Yes, I'm seeing the stability for sure, which I love. Here we have a 4-poster bed. It's really bringing in that square shape. We also have a square underneath the bed. The square that is illuminated, the symbol of the number, is in an offset color, so you can really see it. So here's the square here. I'm not sure why the posts are positioned the way that they are. I really wish they were at the corners. I don't know why. I think this is meant to be like a hoopah. I think is what you call it. Anyways, and then we have the square right on the front of the chest here. So we have our traditional meanings, right? We have rest for the 4 of Swords. We have the 4 of Cups being sort of this like ennui energy. We have the celebration, the party, the milestone achievement in the 4 of Wands. And then we have this security relationship here with one's things in the 4 of Discs. But this person's also like caged in, they're sort of barred in. We see the elemental symbols. So there's the fire symbol, there's the earth symbol, there's the... Wait, where's the water symbol? I'm not spotting it. I don't know why I don't spot the downward facing triangle here. I'm probably missing it. It's probably super obvious. And then here's the air symbol there. So in any case, here we have our 4s. I think I can probably let the guidebook... I love that they've taken off their helmet, so they're stepping away from battle. That's a very clear image that that's what they're doing. There's the peace sign over their head, which is so brilliant because in the RWS tarot, there's a stained glass window that actually has the word PAX, which is Latin for peace. It's like a blessing being in the RWS 4 of Swords. If you look for it, you'll find that. 4 of Cups, again, there's no paint on the canvas, and he's just kind of sitting there. There's this element of like, here's the cup, here's all the inspiration that he needs, but he's not tapping into it. And then here again, we have the sort of wedding or celebration. They're headed towards this structure. There's a celebration happening. And then we have obviously a tight hold on our things in the 4s. I'm going to move these ones up and just stack them up over here so we can do our next group of numbers just so that the piles don't get too unwieldy. Okay, so let's take a look at 5s. So we're looking for that star shape, and it's really easy to identify that number 5. There's something that happens subconsciously when you can identify a shape that is associated with a number. It kind of brings your attention into that number's energy. So we have it there, 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 and over here on the ship sail. We, of course, have the playing card suit represented here as well. Here in the 5 of Swords, we're definitely seeing this frustration. I'm curious what he says in this one, actually, because this is definitely showing more of the, disruption of thought. Laments the destruction of his thought-provoking artwork by the anarchy of a careless cat. Oh, the cat has tracked muddy footprints all over his art. Oh, that's funny as heck. Okay, here we have the spilled wine. Here we have the too many cooks in the kitchen kind of grappling or arguing over who's got the best idea for the meal, which is perfect. And then here we have this sort of like desert island vibe. But there is help coming in the form of this ship, which is really cool. Okay, I'm going to try to get through these just a little bit quicker. There's so many cool Easter eggs in this art. I just love it. And because it's of the art style, it's kind of easy to identify these various things. Okay, this one is brilliant, the Six of Cups. Look at that. We have a very RWS style scene, and this is an older man who is looking at, he's got all these stacked up cups, and he's looking out the window at this and seeing it and like reminiscing of simpler times, younger times. That's amazing. In the Six of Swords, we see somebody from rough water to smooth, very RWS, but the swords are not in the boat, which I really appreciate. They've been thrown overboard and are sinking. You can see the bubbles rising from them. And to me, this is so great because one of the things that happens for me when we're looking at the Six of Swords is I always ask the question of what's happening with the swords. And are they in the boat? Are they stabbing the bottom of the boat? Because that's not great. That's like you bringing your baggage from that Five of Swords experience and bringing it forward. Here, they're falling down. They've been thrown overboard, and I think is brilliant. Here's our air symbol there. Where is our water triangle? I can't find it again. I'm sure it's on there. And then for fire, there it is on the sleeve. And for earth, our earth symbol is on the chest piece there. I don't see it in the artwork. I see it obviously in the border of the card. Oh, it's right there. It's on the building in the background. So it kind of directs your gaze that way, which is interesting. So we have, okay, so that's that. That's the nostalgia. Here we have our victor riding in from battle. We have our 6-pointed star there, and there. And obviously it's intentional where that numerological sigil is being placed in the card. Here in the Six of Discs, we see the scales balanced there. We have this idea of sharing. We have what looks like nobles or royals and common people or peasants here. Like visually you can see there's a class difference, and the royals are freely and willfully sharing their resources with the peasant class, I guess you could say, in this image, which I think is brilliant for the sharing energy of the Six of Coins. Here we have our sevens, and so now we're looking at what is our sigil for the 7, the squared circle, or the squared triangle. Okay. So here we have our standard thievery action happening. There's a little snake in the grass, which is amazing. Literally, it's a snake in the grass. Like, it's such a great little metaphor. We have the shadows being cast by the campers or whoever these people are over here. The way he's looking over his shoulder, there's his air sigil there. In the 7 of Cups, this is very reminiscent. We have these visions floating out of the cups, right? We can see our squared triangle here, our squared triangle here, here, and here. We have a row of symbols along the outer edge of this carpet. I'm not entirely sure what that's, if that's meant to be something specific, but love it. Just love it. Again, having trouble finding our water symbol here, our downward facing triangle. I see it here. Here we have fire there, the fire symbol there, and the earth symbol there. Why am I not seeing? I don't know why I'm struggling with the water ones. I mean, it could technically be part of this diamond, but I feel like that's a stretch, and usually it's a little more obvious than that. I guess it is one of the sigils on this carpet, too. I don't know. And then we have the 7 of Wands. This person who has this water. I'm curious about this one. Let's read this one. 7 of Wands, because I'm curious about the little bit of water there. So the Lady of Valor courageously defends herself against what seems to be the attack of 6 opponents. She has the high ground, suggesting she is moral and ethical. She is courageous and believes in what she's fighting for. If we truly believe in our cause, we will assume a strong position, regardless of the status or number of our adversaries. Mismatched footwear suggests quick action is sometimes needed without having time to prepare. Now is the time to act quickly, but be careful not to slip. So I think this bit of water is meant to indicate there's a little bit of a hazard of being on the high ground and being aware that, make sure that your position is not precarious. There's definitely a moral lesson there for sure. And then in the 7 of Discs, we have planting of seeds being done with this shovel. That's the main thing that jumps out at me. Okay, so we'll pick these up and we'll do the 8, 9, and 10. 8s first. Okay, so we have our 8-pointed stars. 8, 8, 8, and 8. Okay, so we have very typical RWS kind of situation happening here where she's bound, she's blindfolded. I'm looking for the air symbol, and it's right there at the crux of her dress, at the waistband. There's the water symbol on the backpack in the 8 of Cups. The fire symbol's here on the wheel. It's made up of a horseshoe in the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Discs, is it on the anvil? No, it's on this flower pot, which is interesting. Okay, so quick check for this 8 of Wands. Because I remember spotting this on Hot Takes. So I think it was Danny maybe that spotted it. This thing about the fact that this catapult is made up of a horseshoe shape, and that's got to be intentional. The Lord of Swiftness has launched a fiery projectile from his catapult. His machine has been expertly designed to incorporate force and balance. It is important to plan and coordinate before springing into an action, but now things are in motion. All delays have been cleared, and what will be will be. All is in synchronization with the divine power that is the Alpha and Omega. Oh, that's Alpha and Omega. Oh, I gotcha. The first and the last. Now that the action has been launched, it cannot be undone. We must wait and discover the inevitable balanced reaction. What goes up must come down. Interesting. And then, of course, we have this dedicated effort in the Eight of Discs. I love that the alchemical symbol is drawing our attention to that little plant, because to me, that's like you got to nurture something over a long period of time. This up in the top left corner here, what's the story there? The virtue of prudence watches over the artisan. He is equally expeditious and talented with a clear dedication to his profession. Oh, so cool how much symbology got packed in without making the images feel crowded or over detailed. I really like this. Okay. So we have the Nine of Swords. We have the little fighting people on the little bedpost here, which I love. I love this like monkey mind reference here, like the monkey poking at her mind. We have our arrow for our number 9 here, 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 and here. Her blanket is made up of all the zodiac signs. We have the 9 swords stacked up, kind of weighing down or pressing down, and the moon peeking in through the window. Here we, of course, have the wishing well and the dandelion fluff down here, so and a star. So everything you could possibly wish on is showing up on the card all at once. Actually, 4 things. We have a fountain to wish on, a wishing well, a wishing star, the first star out, right? Starlight, star bright, wish I may, wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight, something like that. And then the dandelion fluff. So there's 4 different things to wish on, which is amazing. I love that. Oh, I forgot to look for the elemental symbol. There's air. There's water over his heart. There's fire on the belt. And earth on the front of her dress. And there's our happy little snail, which we have to always have a snail in the nine of discs. Anyways, I love this with the 9 of cups and all the wishing things. That's amazing. And it's almost like this knight has gone questing and she's filling up his cup. It's like this. It's like she is the keeper of all the wishes, and she's filling up his cup with wishes fulfilled. It's just beautiful. And then here in the 9 of wands, we have some of these wands are breaking as he's trying to defend himself. He's like weighed down, broken down. He's taken some injuries. We see that tenacity of this card. There's a volcano looking like it's about to erupt in the distance. And then here we have, of course, a very clear image that this is a falconer here. We've got the grapes, the stacked up coins. I mean, oh, so good. Okay, and here's our 10s. So the 10 is the circle with the dot in the center as the sigil for the number. So here's that circle with the dot, circle with the dot, circle with the dot, circle with the dot. Now the dot isn't always visible, and it's interesting that it's hidden in these 2 more difficult 10s, right? So we have our positive 10s and our difficult 10s. In our difficult 10s, there's something in that where the circle would normally be, which is really interesting. So for example, in the 10 of swords, so you can really clearly see this character has been stabbed 10 times. We still have the dawn coming, so we've got that symbol of hope, and their hand is making that sign of peace, right? It's interesting that that sign of peace is in the center. It's almost like, what is the medicine for this card? It's an end, but where is the beginning? The beginning is peace. Here, same thing. We're overloaded. We're carrying too much. Where's the end? It's here at the house. That's where we're going to find our reset point. So even though it feels like it's rock bottom, it's the end, there's still hope. And where's that hope? And it's kind of like that is pointing you to it. I'm assuming that is the case. I don't know if that's intentional, but that's what I get from it. Again, we have the air symbol there, the water symbol there, the fire symbol, not spotting it, and the earth symbol on the bag there. Love it. Okay, here we have our little rainbow happy family scenario here. It's pretty classic. And the circle, what's sitting on that circle is their, like, where the 3 of them have come together and formed this cohesive unit. Here, again, we have the 10 wands. He's using one of them as a bit of a, like a walking stick. And then here we have generations. I think we might have another virtue peeking in. What does this say? This talks about the torch being passed, the symbolic torch being passed. On the left, the subconscious side, there's a black and white checkered frame with a magical scene within its border. There can be seen a flowing stream from which flowers grow. Really? Hold on. And a feminine depiction of the divine force with the appearance of the high priestess. I do not see flowers growing out of stream on the left of this card. The high priestess holding a sacred heart. Sure. Checkered frame. A black and white check frame with a magical scene with its in border. There can be seen a flowing stream. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, this is really a lot of detail, but there's a flowing stream right here along the bottom and some little flowers coming out. Then we have the high priestess who's offering the heart. Okay, so everything that is described is there. It was just taking me a minute. This may not be a tableau, but actually a portal to another world. The next incarnation awaits. Aww. Okay. So those are our 10s. So let's take a look at our quartz. I don't know how these are handled individual page entry wise in the guidebook. But we're going to start out with our pages. And again, these are linked to Myers-Briggs personality types. Oh my gosh, incredible. So we have the detective, the mediator, the entertainer, and the entrepreneur. Absolutely yes to all of that. It's brilliant. So much going on here in the symbols. The magnifying glass, this is the question asker. She's got her air symbol there, water symbol there. Fire symbol, fire symbol, fire symbol. Not spotting it. And then earth symbol on her chest piece there. Oh my gosh, I just love this. This just makes my nerdy brain so happy. I am smitten. I'm just like, okay, she's examining, but it looks like she might also be lighting a fire with her magnifying glass, which is kind of funny. We have the dolphin leaping with the turtle on its back, the little fish coming out. There's a lot of playfulness happening here. She looks like she's literally dashing out to go do a performance, and this character looks like they are gonna go out and pick herbs or something. It's great. It's great. Love them. Okay, let's take a look at our knights, which are chevaliers, which I'm sure I'm not saying that right. Chevalier? Chevalier? How do you say it in French? I don't know. All right, here we go. So they're all riding horses. We've got the correct directionality, I believe. Ooh, wait. The directionality is, I think, backwards what I'm used to. So typically I'm used to seeing these characters going this direction and these characters going that direction. But stability, as long as they're balanced, it's fine. It's fine. We see the speed of our Knight of Air, the crossing of water for our Knight of Cups. We also see a girl in the distance, so that's really great for that knight. We see diving into battle and all the fire for the Knight of Fire, the Knight of Wands. And then for the Knight of Pentacles, the steadiness, eye on the prize, not rushing things. We're also on plowed fields here, which is great. And we do see, I'm just noticing that 6 symbol and wondering about that. But overall, I love that. Okay, there's our knights. Then we have our queens. Hopefully my audio is still working. Okay, it is. Okay, good. I love that our Queen of Swords is wearing like armored boots. So she's very blocked off armor-wise. There's a head at her feet, which is a severed head, which is amazing. Our Queen of Cups, love her too. We have, I believe that's an ibis. Let's just double check. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of elements you could probably find both in the Thoth as well as the RWS. So her cup is covered by a white crystal ball lid, which is great. It's an ibis. Cool. And a hermit crab. So we have the analyst, the advocate, the defender, and the architect for our queen titles. And we have the bunny, the cat, the hermit crab, and the head. Oh my god, is that actually the... I want to see what she says about the head. Or I want to see what, rather, Michael says about the head. Strong will. By the foot of her throne is a large bearded and newly severed head of a man. This matriarch is not to be crossed. Also. However, the decapitation represents freeing the mind from our lower nature. She challenges us to rise above and dare to know. Oh, I love that. I love all of the queens so much. The sunflower. Yeah. I dig it. Okay, this is definitely much more than like an RWS clone. There's so much going on here. Okay, here is our kings. I love the facial expressions on these characters, by the way, and the directionality elements that are definitely baked in. All of them tick my boxes for like how and where they should be. But let's take a look here. Are there fairies on the King of Swords' throne? He slays as fast as he creates the butterfly with the sickle. The King of Cups with his leaping fish and the boat in the background. Oh, there's a snake crawling around his hand. Okay, In his left hand, he holds a sword behind his head in a mock suicide pose. Although the way in which he communicates ideas is often melodramatic, he is a reliable natural leader. He commands the realms of art and culture with a strong sense of morality and empathy. Where's the snake? He wears his heart on his sleeve. Yes. He's the only king without a mustache, as he does not hide his emotions and wears his heart on his sleeve. He wears a wavy gold crown, blue robes, and a fish pendant. He calmly sits in the middle of a turbulent sea and is unafraid to stand up and speaks when he feels something needs to be said. His throne is supported by a rock that represents his solid beliefs. Here it is. A snake of knowledge crawls up his arm toward the cup that he holds in his right hand. There you go. Okay, we have our salamander for fire. We have, like, all the symbols I feel like you need are on here. It's wild. Oh my God, look at this, like, sleeping boar in the King of Discs. Yeah, here it is. From his robes peeks an armored foot resting on the head of a boar. Oh, he's got his foot on it. Signifying both his authority and ability to bring home the bacon. Oh my God. Michael. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, let's put these away. All right, now we're going to take a look at the majors and the virtues and such. So here's our majors. I'm going to zoom us in even more. And I'm just going to keep the stack in the center. So we begin with the magician. So I assume we're going to end with the fool. Okay. Without peeking, let's see. We, of course, have our roses and lilies here. We have our suit symbol. So he's holding the double-ended wand. But then he's also got the sword, wand, cup, and coin on the table in front of him. He's got a key at his belt. The belt is a snake eating its own tail. We have the lemniscate up here. We have the owl sitting up there. The caduceus symbol here. All these potion bottles. He's surrounded by the zodiacal elemental symbols as well. Our high priestess has the duality of the yin yang symbol. We have a peacock. She's got her foot on the moon. There's keys hanging from her key ring that she holds. There's water behind her, but she's being blocked by this veil of pomegranates. We have water for the pillar of mercy, I believe, and fire coming out of the pillar of severity, I assume. Just gonna see. Hanging between the pillars. Okay, the pillars represent the opposing forces of negation and affirmation. If joined, these powers would destroy each other, but separated in strength, this temple of knowledge is established. Divine energy is created when there is harmony and dualities. Let's see. Embroidered trees pay tribute to Hathor, queen of the date palm, who feeds the deceased with sacred milk from the palm fronds. There's pomegranates. Yes. Wow. These entries, okay, these card entries, they're just like a single, they're not that overwhelming. There's a single page. This single page is packed, this paragraph is packed with so much symbols. It's very succinct. It's straightforward. You know exactly why everything is here. There's a ton of esoteric knowledge packed into just this one paragraph on every card. And it's like that. Look at these paragraphs for the minors. And yet all of the symbols are represented, are described, explained. Impressive for sure. Holy cow. This locked box here to me is like that whole like guarding of knowledge. Here's our Empress. We have the shield. We have the triangle. She's of course a number 3. Do we see an X actually? We do. There's an X. And we have the lemniscate. So we have the lemniscate for the 1. Let's look for those. For the 2, we have the X. That brings us back to the numerology. For the 3, we have the triangle. We have the water. We have the wheat. We have her crown of stars. We have an eagle here. Oh my gosh. We have our square for our number 4 for the emperor. The shield. The Ankh. Our ram's heads. Brilliant. He's also wearing a square. Here we have our 5. We have our 5-pointed star. We have our crossed keys for our Hierophant. Oh my gosh, there's a spider hanging from the 5. That's awesome. A lily and a rose and a bone and a moon and a flower and a feather. All hanging from this key. I really want to read about the Hierophant. Let's see. I'm just going to read this one whole entry. Okay. First of all, we have up top, there is this sort of like, this is like your card meaning bit, right? So it says, this is disruption of knowledge. So disruption, remember, is number 5. So the character, the keyword for the number is still baked into every single entry. So the Empress would be creativity of the feminine, right? The Emperor is stability of the masculine. The Hierophant is disruption of knowledge. So we have that Hierophant energy has its own association, and then we've combined the numerological energy in there too. Super cool. So the Hierophant signifies a disruption of earthly knowledge and guidance toward a spiritual awakening. He provides a link between material concerns and the mystical and offers counsel to seekers who wish to move in a new direction toward a higher purpose. Certainty comes not only from knowledge of facts, but also from an undefinable matter of faith. The Hierophant represents this revelation. Reversed aspects indicate misleading, unwise, inauthentic, or false counsel. Question authority. Beware of false prophets and subversion. The ego can block personal growth. Okay, now we get into all the symbols. So hopefully you can see everything on the screen really well. A spiritual teacher sits with crossed legs between a pair of pillars, but this is not the mystic temple guarded by the high priestess. There is no veil. The Hierophant represents the active disruption of the material by revealing new dimensions of spiritual thought. On his chest is a pentacle representing the material elements plus spirit. With his right hand, he gives the esoteric sign that distinguishes between the manifest and concealed part of doctrine, which is the peace sign, as far as I understand it anyway. His triple crown has antlers connecting him to the material and an open third eye linking him to the spiritual. He is the magus of the eternal. In his lap is an open book from which he teaches 2 initiates. To his right side, a spider descends to weave a web, symbolic of the stories and parables that a teacher weaves. To his left side sits a raven, a bird capable of speech, which represents insight and death of misconceptions. The Hierophant builds on earthly establishment with a higher spiritual level. He is the leader of salvation and magus of the eternal. He has lit candles on opposite sides of him to represent the enlightenment of dualities. At his feet are a pair of crossed keys, one solar gold and the other lunar silver, which is another reference to the fusion of dualities. In his left hand, he holds a staff with 3 branches from which hang various totems. The moon and sun represent feminine and masculine. So those are up top here, the moon and sun. I thought it was a flower, but it's a sun. The feather and bone represent accomplishment and persistence, and the lily and rose represent death and life. At the top of his staff, at the very top, are 3 rings, a trinity of rings representing the body, mind, and spirit. Do you see what I mean? So much esoteric symbology just packed into this singular card, and it is incredible, and I love it. I love it. Okay, now we have the Lovers is called the Choice. It's called the Choice. That's what I called my Lovers card. Choice. Oh, I love it so much. Okay. Okay. Is this like my esoteric deck? I think it might be. I think this might be my esoteric deck. Like the one that like, it speaks my speak. I love how clear the symbols are. I love how easy it is to spot things. I love the art style being kind of cartoony. I love it all. I love it all. I love it all. Okay. Anyways, the Choice. Harmony of free will and fate. A young man known as the Amorous One stands at the crossroads between vice and virtue. So good. So good. We have Cupid up here. We have the dove with the branch bringing peace. We have a key hanging from the dog. Okay, what does he say about the key hanging from the dog? Oh my God, I want to read it all. The dog by her side represents fidelity. Attached to the collar of the canine is a key that hints at the right path. Another clue is the number 9 hidden in the virtuous woman's hair, which can be joined with the number 6 hidden in the hair of the man to create the yin-yang symbol of perfect balance. Oh, a 9 and a 6. Wait, so she has a 9 in her hair. Hold on. She has a 9 in her hair? Wait, hidden in the virtuous woman's hair. Oh my God. Is this Where's Waldo? I think it is. And a 6 hidden in the hair of the man. I don't see the 6 or the 9, Michael. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm trying. Let me know if y'all found it. Again, like Where's Waldo? There's apparently a 9 in the virtuous woman's hair and a 6 in his hair to create a yin-yang. I don't see it. It's probably stylized and I'm looking for like an actual 9 and an actual 6. That would definitely screw me up. Okay. Oh my gosh. I love this so much. Okay. Is there a volcano? Or no, there's pyramids. There's a rainbow. Oh, interesting. Even just the fact that there's clouds to this side and there's a rainbow to this side. Cupid's over here, but the dove with peace is over here. Oh my gosh. So cool. There's so much to like unpack. Okay. Here we have the Chariot. Is there checkerboards? I just realized on the bottom of all of these major arcana, there are. There's a checkerboard underneath every single character. And I don't know if that is explained anywhere. There's also a checkerboard in the back. Wait, is there a checkerboard everywhere in the cards? No. There's no checkerboards in the minors, except there is a checkerboard frame around the 10 of Pentacles, which kind of is a window into more of the esoteric realm. Interesting. I'm so curious about the checkerboard. I'm wondering if that's referenced somewhere. I might have to go looking for that information. I might have to look for it right now just so that I can find out because I really want to know. I really want to know. I'm sure it's a reference to general duality, but I'm curious if he calls it out anywhere specifically. I don't see it, but I know it's there for a reason. Okay. Well, regardless, we're going to go on. Here we have our Chariot. Again, all the symbols. I love that this is like, there's like fire happening in this building behind him. We have like the chaotic horse here. And he's like, force of will is harmonizing that energy. Here we have Justice. gosh. The Hermit. We have the snake coming up this pole. We obviously have a reference to our number 9 in the arrow. So wherever we have this numerology, we're going to see that 8-pointed star. We're going to see on here, it's on her chest because we're in an 8 card. So the numerology is still very, very... Oh, I just realized. She's Justice. He's Time, not called the Hermit, but called Time. Then we have the Wheel. It's obviously a reference to the Hanged Man. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Love the water wheel here. We have Fortitude for strength. The amount of... Yeah, there's our Hanged one. Death. So Death is the same... Hold on. Hold on. On the wheel, we have Death down here. We have the Hanged one. So is that the Emperor coming up? No. Okay, now I need to go look at the wheel and see who these characters are. Hold on. Okay, riding upward is the victorious hero of the Chariot. Oh my gosh. So we have the Chariot coming up. We have the Hanged one coming down. We have Death at the bottom. Oh my God, how cool is that? Who's at the top? Riding the wheel are figures representing the 4 stages of life. Rising upward is the victorious hero of the Chariot. Falling downward is the surrendering Hanged man. At the top is the wise Hierophant. There's the Hierophant. How freaking cool is that? Okay. And then we have Death at the bottom. They each carry an orb with a different symbol of the alchemical process: salt, mercury, sulfur, and water. The alchemist turning base metals into gold is an allegory for our soul being refined through a life of chance and changes, leading us to enlightenment through conscious experience. Is it even possible for him to have packed any more stuff, symbology, into this deck and yet have it be so visually... This is so smart. I just can't. It's so smart. We have Death. Okay. Temperance. How interesting that in the back we have these pillars with the water, and then it seems closer in Temperance. Here we have our Devil, Tower, Star, Moon, Sun. Love that. It's giving a little Apollo. Fame instead of Judgment. It's Fame. Interesting. What does he say about Fame? Transition of Judgment. Let's see. The angel Pheme, a personification of fame and daughter of hope, sounds a pair of trumpets. Her favor is notability and her wrath a scandalous rumor. We must integrate our past and present, our higher self and our shadow side, oh my God, into one whole. All our experiences live inside us, not outside. This revelation is shared with the sound of the trumpets to all who listen. However, with free will comes the choice to rise in response or ignore the call. We have the opportunity to choose a path worthy of admiration. How we live our life will result in how we will be remembered, and fame, being eternal, is superior to death. Hanging from the angel's trumpets are a pair of symbolic banners. The Masonic square and compass represent the measurement and reason needed for correct discernment. Actions must be squared with virtue, and the primal desires must be circumscribed to keep passions within due bounds toward all mankind. The Phoenix Firebird on the second banner represents self-transformation and spiritual awakening, which is always possible. Through fire, all things are renewed. It is never too late to burn away the baggage and reinvent yourself. A gray cloud which the angel breaks through symbolizes material illusion and individual boundaries. With the death of ego, there is a resurrection into a new, broader sense of reality. The journey is no longer about self, but has become an example that can be shared and manifest change to the entire world soul. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here's our World Soul card. Lots going on here. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm not going to unpack it all, but there's a lot. We've got the Anima Mundi. So next we have the Vision. So this is on to the extra cards. Okay, wow. The Vision signifies a heightened epiphany of duality granted by crossing the threshold between the waking world and the land of dreams. This is Morpheus. Stands in a field of poppies at the edge of the world. Interesting. Okay. Then we have the Falconer. The Falconer signifies the focused creativity necessary to achieve success. The boldest actions can sometimes be not acting, but holding back and watching. Interesting. Prudence is one of our virtues. So we have prudence is the insight and wisdom needed as a foundation to regulate all the other virtues. The Grail, it's fascinating. The Dragon. So the Grail was the ultimate quest for enlightenment. The Dragon is the key test in which we must forego material attachment and be in harmony with our passions in the name of the spiritual ideals. So of course, there's Dragon Horde and stuff dealing with that there. Then we have Hope, perseverance, confidence, and overcoming struggle of purpose. Faith, rock solid belief that provides balance, strength, stability, and peace. So these girls are like dancing around a fire, and there's a triple moon symbol. That's really cool. Then we have Charity, Power of agape love. No matter what the question is, love is always the answer. Charity represents the compassion and understanding that makes anything possible. Oh, there's our Fool finally. I just realized. The formless state between incarnations and the transition of spirit. Nothing is really ever destroyed or created. It only changes form. Our innocent inner child trusts in life without any fear, certain his path will be happy, rewarding, and full of surprises. Okay, then we have our astrological signs. So we have the 2 fishes, which is Pisces. The ram for Aries. The sea monster. Okay, you lost me on the sea monster. May 12th and June 6th. Are you giving us the name of the sign? Hello? If ram is Aries, what comes after Aries? Sea monster. Somebody's shouting at the screen already. And I don't recognize the symbol. Cetus? The sea monster? Okay, I don't know what sign that is. I should be able to process of elimination it, I guess. But I don't know why. Why don't I recognize? That's not a familiar... Who's it replacing? That's what I need to know. Because then we have Taurus with the bull. Gemini for the twins. Cancer for the crab. Leo for the lion. Virgo for the maiden. Libra for the scales. Scorpio for the scorpion. And the serpent bearer, who I don't know. Sagittarius is the centaur. Wait, what would come after Libra? Okay, Scorpio. I don't know who the serpent bearer is either. Why are we disrupting our signs here? December 6th and December 31st. But then I thought that was Sagittarius. January 1st and January 26th. Nope, I'm lost. I don't know why. Because Sagittarius is usually December. The centaur. The sea goat is Capricorn. And the water bearer is Aquarius. Wait, how many of these are there? Because I feel like there's extras in here. Hold on. Did you change the zodiac, Michael? What have you done? What is going on here? I feel like I should know this, but I don't. And I feel like I don't... Okay. So how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so we do have extra suits. So this guy's extra, and so is the sea monster. So the sea monster and the serpent bearer are extra. Sorry, I wasn't in frame. But yeah. So I don't know what to do with that. We're going to see if there's a chart or something in the book. So let's zoom us back out. Oh, that's in. Do we have a quick guide to the astrology you put in here? I do not see one. So here we get a tree of life thing that's very, very interesting. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 using the sigils that he already taught us, which is amazing. That is the creator, by the way, Michael Auger. I love that he puts the pronunciation in here. Thank you for that, Michael, because, oh my gosh, that would drive you crazy. I'm sure everybody's going to call you Michael Auger, and you're going to be really annoyed. So here again, we see the path of the serpent of wisdom. Again, we see the serpent of wisdom, which is taking us through the tree of life, which is so cool. Again, we see the tree of life, but where is our astrological cheats? Okay, we're going to take a quick look at this section because I think this is interesting. So the Magician, Fortitude, and World Soul card each represent a wholeness and active energy. So we're going to get into the majors. Let's pull those out real quick. Okay. So let's take a look. The Magician, which is card 1. Fortitude, which is card 11. And the World Soul, which is 21. Each represents a wholeness and active energy that connects the opposite nature of elements. Pythagoreans thought of numbers as plural. So the number 1 is sometimes called ace because it is not a real number. So we see the lemniscates in each of these cards, which we should be familiar with, right? We know that Fortitude, Magician, and World all have lemniscates in the traditional RWS as well. So that's pretty cool to see that sort of put together like that. I'm going to put these back in order. Okay, and then we have the High Priestess and the Hanged Man and the Vision card. So let's take a look at these. So we have the High Priestess, the Hanged Man, and the Vision, which is card 22. These each have X's. So there's an X, an X, and an X. So it says, share a passive energy that divides the world into the seen and unseen and other forms of duality. So you can see crossed lines can be seen on each of these cards representing partnership or conflict. The upside down perspective of the Hanged Man helps to lift the veil of the High Priestess so the gate of the Vision, which separates us from divine wisdom, is opened. So he lifts her veil, you can think of it this way, in order to access the vision. Does that make sense? He lifts her veil so that we can access the vision. Very cool to look at them that way. And then we have the Emperor, Temperance, and so we have 4s. So we have the Empress, the Emperor, Temperance, and Prudence, which is card 24. So we have 4, 14, and 24. So we're going to, of course, see the square in each of these. Square, square, square. So he's talking about that, the stability. That makes sense. Okay. And again, you'll want to read the guidebook to get all the good juicy stuff, but like just to kind of cover it. The Hierophant, the Devil, and the Grail, we again have 5, 15, and 25. So there's 5, 15, and of course 25, and we should see the 5-pointed star in all 3 of these. Of course, it's reversed in the Devil. They each represent a disruption of stability by adding something magical. The lesson is first openly taught by the Hierophant, then understood on a deeper level by overcoming the trial and trickery of the Devil, and ultimately illumination of the eternal is granted by drinking from the Grail. So we can see the connection and the progression between these cards, which is very cool. And these numbers link us, which is really neat. Okay. Then we have Choice, Thunderbolt, and the Dragon. So we've got 6, 16, and 26. So we have 6, 16, and 26. Okay, so now we have Choice, Thunderbolt, and Dragon. So we have, hopefully these are staying in frame. So we have the Choice or the Lover's card, the Tower card, and the Dragon card, which is one of the additional cards, right? So it says a 6-pointed star, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these are all connected to their portrayal of divine forces impacting our material decisions. So that 6-pointed star represents the harmony between free will and fate. So 6, 16, and 26. And we should have, I'm assuming we're going to do the same thing, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so yeah, so let's just do that this way. So we have 7, 17, and 27. So now we have the Chariot, the Star, and Hope. I was hoping that these two would have a connection, Hope with the Star, because of course there is a relationship there. But this says these each represent a struggle or a test that, if overcome, will lead to an opening of new possibilities. The sign of septenary, a 3-sided triangle combined with a 4-sided square, can be seen in each of these cards, representing an active breakthrough. We must advance and follow our guiding star with optimistic aspiration. Wow, so well thought out. And then 7. Okay. And then we have 8, 8, 18, and 28. So let's take a look at those. 8, 18, 28. So we have Justice, the Moon, and Faith. Connected in their ability to distinguish between opposites and find a balance. So it says it can be challenging to weigh options or passively discern differences. A domestic dog and a wild wolf are not alike, but they can appear similar when viewed in the moonlight. However, every truth is but a half-truth. A balance of both science and spirituality is essential to achieve higher knowledge. Okay, let's look at 9s. So 9, that's time. 19, which is our Sun card, and 29, which is our final virtue. So we have time, the sun, and charity. So again, we have the arrows in each of these cards. And it says an upwards pointing arrow created from 9 lines can be seen in these cards, representing connections to the higher power. Time heals all wounds. The sun is the source of all energy, and love, charity, conquers all. Love that. Okay, I don't know why I'm trying so hard to keep these in order, but just in case it's easier to find other ones later. And then finally we have 10, that's the wheel card, has a relationship to 20, which is fame or judgment, obviously, which has a connection back to our Fool, which is unnumbered in this deck. They are all connected in their otherworldliness. They represent an opportunity to disconnect and wander between, I just realized they all have the circle. I bet they all have the circle and the dot. They sure do. So circle with a dot in the wheel, circle with a dot at her forehead for fame / judgment. Is there a circle? There's a circle on this ship. Oh, there's the circle and the dot up there. Interesting. The never-ending circle represents cyclical transition. The wheel both rises and falls. In the end, you will be judged and remembered for your actions, fondly or with disdain. Strive to be as pure and wise as the thrice great Fool, and watch your step. Amazing. Amazing. They just took us on a whole tour through all of this. Amazing, 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 amazing. I have to say, I am really blown away by this whole situation we have here. So I just want to see what it feels like now that we've done this to do a little reading with this. So I'm going to get this shuffled really good. We're going to do an energy obstacle advice. Obviously keeping all the cards in the deck, but using with the guidebook. Even though there's a lot of cards, it's not a super stiff cardstock, so it is manageable. For my hands, it's manageable. That doesn't mean it's going to be manageable for everybody's hands. I am grateful that it is edged in black. That's a nice touch. I'm just going to hand over hand these a little bit more. And let's just see what it feels like to read with these. I mean, there's all these esoteric layers, but at the end of the day, it's a tarot deck. Will it function for me as a tarot deck? I'll probably have to use the guidebook, but that's okay. I don't mind that when I'm reading for myself. Okay. So energy, we have 4 of Wands. Obstacle, we have the Lion, which is one of our zodiacal cards. And then advice, we have the 2 of Swords. So let's see what the guidebook says. So for energy, 4s are back here. So we're going to go to the 4 of Wands. Okay, the 4 of Wands signifies the stability that comes from participating in traditional actions that, while not a restful break, are certainly an enjoyable interlude and an integral part of the journey. Celebrate the perfected work that has been achieved so far. Great. Love that. Okay, then we go to our Lion, which is in the back. Oh, we don't have a card number for him. So finding him is a little bit trickier. Just go to the back section here. The Lion. So I'm going to read the reversed for this because it's falling in the obstacle position. Reversed aspects of the Lion allude to an unpredictable inclination similar to the water bear. Beware of intolerance. Do not be ruled by arrogance, impatience, or possessiveness. Okay, that's fair. And then we have the 2 of Swords. So we'll go to the 2s. And we have our advice. The 2 of Swords signifies a duality of thought and deliberation between a pair of alternate options. This quandary can be solved and peace restored by passive reflection and meditation. Allow an escape from distraction and discord in order to receive wisdom from the higher self. So there's a call here to tune out all of the conflicting ideas, conflicting thoughts, really get into the heart space and get settled. And this is like, don't overdo it in the like zealotry department, I guess. Hopefully that tracks. Wow, that was really fun to do a deep dive of. I know we've been here a while, but this deck required it. So thank you for coming along with me. Thank you to all of those of you who requested this walkthrough, and stay tuned on the channel. So that, my friends, was the Alcento Tarot. Yeah, I think I am going to keep this all together because I think working with the book is going to be just a gem. What a cool deck. I feel like it taught me so much just in this walkthrough, and I love that about it. So we'll see how it fits into my practice. I don't know yet. Can I just whip it out for anything? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you all so, so much. As always, an extra big thank you goes out to my Unicorn Fam channel members for all of your support of the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do hit subscribe, y'all, if you're watching this, and click the like button. You can see my videos in your feed, and it's a way to let YouTube know you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts about this deck, any ideas, or if you spotted things I was missing. Like, I'm sure some of you were like actively typing in the comments, like, I found the triangle, but I couldn't find it or whatever in a card. And I love that. Let's make it interactive. So thank you so much for hanging out. As always, I appreciate you all so, so much. And until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye.